All right, now, hello, geometry people. Welcome to 8.3. And it should be noted that I believe there is a quiz after this. So after this, make sure that you're doing your review and then you're taking the quiz. So this one comes first. So let's talk about circles and sectors and what we're trying to figure out here. So now, area of a circle, you may remember, we've talked about it before. It's been discussed before. So area of a circle, one, you're just talking about the space inside of the circle. Okay, and to find that, you're going to take pi times the radius squared. Okay, do not confuse that. A lot of kids like to confuse that with 2 pi r. 2 pi r is not correct. That gives you the circumference. That gives you your circumference, not your area. Your area will be pi r squared. Okay, so pi r squared will give you your area. So now, when we talk about a sector, well, I guess we're not ready for that yet. Never mind. So very, very simply, how do we figure out the area of this? Well, pi r squared is my area. So area will be equal to pi times 15 squared. So that would be 225 pi. By the way, this is known as an exact answer. Then when I actually multiply it, 225 times pi, and get my big, long decimal, that is considered rounded. Okay, so if they ask for exact, if they ask for rounded, if they say in terms of pi, if they say in terms of pi, they mean this. Otherwise, you're going to want that. For number 2, diameter of 12 means that the radius is merely just half of that. So my radius is 6. So I want to take 6 squared times pi. So that will give me 36. And again, that's my exact or my in terms of pi answer. So 36 times pi is just going to be 113.97. Or if you said 113.1, I wouldn't count that wrong. Units squared. So that's all I'm doing. Okay, we figured out the area of a circle before. You've seen it. All you're really doing is just taking whatever the radius is, square it, and multiply by pi. Okay. This one a little bit different. We'll be working backwards here. So now if you consider area is equal to pi r squared. Now, this time we actually know the area. Now we have to do a little bit of work to get back to r. So I need to divide by pi. So as I look, let's see, that's about 30.24, and that equals r squared. So then I square root both sides to solve. So I get that to be 5.499 r. So let's just call it 5.5. So my radius is 5.5. 5.5 what, you ask? Just 5.5 centimeters. That's all it is, just 5.5 centimeters. So, but now look, I divided by pi, and then to get rid of the square root, or to get rid of the square, I just multiply by the square root. That's it. That's all I do. So now, we're going to take this one step further. If you'll notice, they give me the area in terms of pi. So now, pi r squared is my area, and that equals 196 pi. Now, this is actually a very, very simple one because I want to follow that same first step. I want to do some solving, so I'm going to divide by pi. So that cancels out, but it also cancels out over here. So all I'm left with is 196, and I just take the square root. Get rid of that little 2 there. So my radius is merely 14. So 14 yards. But now they want the diameter. So my diameter is just 14 times 2. So the actual diameter of this thing will be 28 yards. Okay, now most of you have probably at least seen this before. You might not have remembered all the little subtle differences, but you've seen it before. You kind of understand how it works, or at least aware that pi is involved somewhere. So now let's kind of consider this. You and 3 friends ordered a large pizza from Pizza Hut, which has a 14-inch diameter. What is the total amount of pizza in square inches that you will eat if you split the pizza equally? So this pizza has got a 14-inch diameter. So if I draw my circle, we're looking at 14 inches. So cut that in half, so that will be 7-inch radius. So now the area will just be pi r squared. So it'll just be pi 7 squared. So when I do that, I just multiply it all together, just kind of do a little calculator mashing. So when I do that, I end up with 153.94 inches squared. But now you're not done. You and 3 friends order it, so how much are each of you going to get? So I'm going to take my answer and divide it by 4. So each person will get 38.48 square inches of pizza. There's my answer. There's my answer. Okay, so now play around with this. Take your time a little bit. Try and make sure that you understand what's going on. And make sure you understand differences between radius and diameter. You know, my point. So now, here's the question that often gets asked. Which is the better deal? 2 medium pizzas for $6 each, or a large pizza with a diameter of 14 inches. Okay, so now if we go back, we can realize the area of my 14-inch is 153.94 inches squared. Okay, that's every large pizza. It's a 14-inch. So now, what's the better deal? This is for $10. The medium pizza is $5.99. Which one's the better deal? So the area of the medium pizza is going to be 6 squared times pi. So a diameter of 12 means the radius is 6. So that's 36 pi, which is 113.097. Okay, now that's for $5.99 each versus this, which is for $10. So I'm going to take 113.097 divided by $5.99. Then I'm going to take 153.94 and divide it by 10. So my answer divided by $5.99 is 18.88. And what that represents is square inches basically per penny. So then do the other one. So this becomes 15.394. So this is your square inches for the cost. So actually this would be 18.88 inches per dollar and 15.394 per dollar. So the better deal is actually the medium pizza. That's actually the better deal. Yeah, the large is bigger and it's $10, but the better deal is this. We'd be better off getting 2 medium pizzas and get more pizza than you would for your large down here. Okay, we kind of already did that, so we're fine. All right, I did that on the last page. So now we kind of switch gears. So now we're looking for the sector of a circle. So we're looking for just a part of the circle. So here we're looking for the A. In this case, A represents a sector of the circle. And all you're doing is looking at, like I said, just a portion of the area. So X is your central angle. And R is going to be your radius. Okay, so now let's start with this. Okay, area of a triangle, not area of a triangle, what am I doing? That's just a silly question. The area of a circle would be pi r squared. Okay, so now area of a circle, that would represent this whole thing. That's not what I want. That's not what I want. I only want a specific part of that. So how do I do that? Well, I consider my angle here. And I realize that my angle out of 360, because that will be the sum total in a circle, would give me the portion I want. So what I'm going to do is take x over 360 times pi r squared to get my sector. That's it. I'm going to take my circle, then I'm going to take part of my circle, and that's my answer. So if I look, area of the shaded sector, 148 is my angle, so that's 148 out of 360. My radius is 6, so I go 6 squared times pi. So 148 out of 360 I leave alone. 36 pi is going to be that 113.097. Now I multiply that together, and you might have to be a little bit picky about how you enter it into a calculator. Be very, very careful. You could definitely just multiply the tops first and then divide, but just be very careful how you do it. And my answer, I get 46.5 rounded, so approximation, meters squared. That's my answer. That's my answer. Okay, a couple other little examples here. This one, number 7. So I want 53 out of 360 times 4 squared pi. Okay, so 16 pi is going to be 50.26 times 53 over 360. And that's going to equal 7.4. All right, feet squared. Make sure you're labeling your answers. Okay, please be picky with a label. All right. Number 8 is tricky because a lot of kids would write, without thinking, 65 times 360 times 11 pi, and off they would go. This is actually wrong. Remember, I want the shaded sector. Okay, so I don't want the 65. I want how big this is. So that's going to be 295. That's what I want. I actually want 295 out of 360 multiplied by 11 squared pi. So 295 out of 360 multiplied by 380.13. There's my answer. 311.497, 498. And again, that will be inches squared. So be careful. This one's a little bit of a trick. Just try and keep you honest. But make sure you're being aware of what they're asking for and what you're giving to them. Okay, so a little bit of a tougher one. Okay, my radius is 3. Okay, that's cool. So this one's 130. If that's a vertical angle, which it is, that's 130, which makes this, let's see, 50 and 50. So now there's a couple different ways I can do this. I could certainly go 50 out of 360 times 3 squared pi, and then just take my answer and multiply it by 2. I can absolutely do that. All that's saying is I'm going to figure out the area of one of these things and then double it. That would be fine. I could also just say 100 over 360, and that would give me the same thing. Okay, it's entirely up to you. What are you comfortable with? So So 9 times pi, when I do that, it's going to be 28.27 times 50 over 360 times 2. I get 7.85 meters squared. There's my answer. There's my answer. Okay, last one. So they tell you that this whole thing is 9. So if I cut that in half, that would make it 4.5. They're saying this is split. Okay, so they're saying this is split. These two are equal. So 4.5 divided by 2 should be 2.25. Yeah. So that's 2.25. That's 2.25. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the area of the big circle minus the area of the little circle, and that should give me the shaded part. Okay, if I take the area of this whole thing and subtract that, that should give me the area of the shaded part. So I want to take 4.5 squared times pi minus 2.25 squared times pi. So do a little calculator mashing, 63.61 or 62, 2.25 squared times pi, oops, is going to be 15.9. So if I just subtract those, I get approximately 47.72 centimeters squared. That's my answer. That's my answer. Okay, now off you go to do the 8.3 assignment. Then the 8.3 quizzes. And then your review. Then the quizzes review. And then your 8.1 through 8.3 quiz. That's what's next. That's what's next. Again, let the calculator do a lot of the legwork. It'll save you a whole bunch of time and a whole bunch of hassle. Thank you.